Arsenal Industries presents NBA Draft Profiles, Jahlil Okafor.
Okafor is a 6'11" big man from Duke University, has a 7'6" wingspan, weighing 270 pounds, 19 years old, and hailing from Whitney Young High School in Chicago. His biggest strengths are his size. He's a massive specimen with very large hands, and he has the right measurables to be a force on both ends of the court. His post game was one of the most polished offensive post games to come out of college in recent years. He averaged 22.5 points per 40 minutes from inside 15 feet, which was first among centers in his draft class. Also 1.061 points per possession in half court, which was third in the entire NCAA. His excellent footwork and touch with back to the basket, quick in the phone booth and when he was facing up. He's an unstoppable finisher at the rim, 27 and ones, and a .933 points per possession on 328 post possessions, which was third in the NCAA. He has a very good basketball IQ, and he's patient with double teams, doesn't take many bad shots, and he's a good passer out of the spot.
I think that what you just finished with is one of the more underrated aspects of Jahlil Okafor's game. He's a great passer as a center. I think that his assist numbers, once it's all said and done in the NBA, will be close to 3.5 assists per game, which is a great number for a center.
Definitely.
Obviously, he's a dominant, low-post player. I haven't seen a player like him in a very long time come enter the NBA draft. It's just, you don't see players like this
Right.
every
You don't
day.
see offensively polished players, especially from the center or power forward position, come out very often.
And the last thing I'd like to end with here in terms of Jahlil Okafor's strengths is he's a winner. He won in high school at Whitney Young. He won with Duke last year. So I know that has a lot to do with, as LeBron James has learned throughout his career, who you're playing with. But I think it's not something to be overlooked.
Definitely. Okafor's main area of improvement is his defense, which could potentially affect him from becoming an all NBA type center. He doesn't have great athleticism. He doesn't position himself well to block shots or grab rebounds. And in today's NBA, it could be hard to work around a center who is a liability in rim protection and grabbing boards. Although it should be added that when playing at Duke, Okafor was often asked to play with less effort on the defensive end so that he tried not to draw fouls and could stay on the court for Coach K and contribute on offense.
Right. I would say that wasn't necessarily less effort as it was, hey, Jahlil, if you think you can get this block and you're sure of it, get it. But if you're not sure, we would rather you just let them get the layup. And I think that going into the NBA, that's going to be something that will – I think his defense, don't get me wrong, he's not a great defender. But I think he can be a solid defender. He's got great size. And as a shot blocker, he should improve, and he should try to mold himself after Marc Gasol's and Tim Duncan's.
Right.
He's never going to be a Serge Ibaka.
Right.
Having said that, the area where I think he really needs the most work is pick and roll defense. The pick and roll is a staple of all NBA offenses.
Definitely.
And he struggled with the footwork, controlling the guard.
Mm-hmm.
And controlling and getting back and making sure that he doesn't get beat. So I think that's something he's really got to work on moving through his career and these first couple of years to establish himself as a player.
Do you think Okafor's defense could be his fatal flaw, or do you think it could prevent him from becoming great?
I think that's the only thing that could prevent him. I think offensively he's a great player. I think he's almost unstoppable in today's NBA.
Yeah.
And there's just not too many players that can contest with him. Yes, DeAndre Jordan. Yes, a Dwight Howard, but how many of those guys are left?
Right, very true.
So 24 teams or so, he's going to be able to go out and dominate.
Yeah.
So I think that's something you got to look forward to if your team ends up with the Jahlil Okafor.
I think the team that will select Jahlil Okafor and the team that should select Jahlil Okafor is the same team in the Los Angeles Lakers at the second pick. I think that Okafor could become a very dominant big man in the NBA, especially I think right away on offense he'll be very effective, which will help the Lakers a great deal, which will draw teams in towards him where he can kick it back out to players like Jordan Clarkson, Kobe Bryant if he comes back, Nick Young if he is still with the team. So I think that the Los Angeles Lakers should definitely take Jahlil Okafor at number 2.
And do you think that the Los Angeles Lakers will select Jahlil Okafor?
I do. I think they will. I think they'll take him. I think he's too promising to pass up at this point.
Okay. Now, as far as what we think he will be like in terms of a player, we've seen comparisons to Al Jefferson, which I feel is almost a lowball projection.
Kind of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, something more like that, where
Yeah.
I think that they're just taking him as he is right now.
Right.
You got to remember with Al Jefferson that he's taken time to develop into the player that he is currently.
That is true.
So he's improved throughout his years. Just think as to where Okafor could end up.
Right.
Now, these are